A really exciting time out there, lots of generosity, and I want to dive into our forecast now. We've got these great conditions today, lots of sunshine, definitely a lot clearer than it was just yesterday. And this is earlier today up in Cambria. You can see as we started to see that sunset, that marine layer started to move in. That's very solidly in place for many of our communities right now. So limited visibilities here and there, but as we look out towards our oceans, you can also see some tricky conditions out there right now. So we've got some king tides happening. Those are tied in with the supermoon at this point as well. Almost a 7-foot tide earlier on today. We're in those lower tide conditions at this point, but we'll continue to see these higher tides over the next couple of hours as well as the next few days, and that's going to cause a couple of concerns. So here are the things I'm looking at along our beaches. Firstly, a high surf advisory. That's not actually tied in with the king tides. It's tied in with a system up in the Aleutian Islands in Alaska where those waves are actually coming from. Up to 16-foot sets are possible with that. That on top of our king tides up to 7 feet for those highs can cause some issues, especially when those two combine. That's when we do have a couple of concerns prompting lots of watches, warnings, alerts, and advisories. So here's what our advisory map looks like right now. Kind of a complicated one, lots of layering going on. So here's them piece by piece. Starting off with a high surf advisory. That is separate from the tides, but it is for all of our western beaches through later in the evening hours on Saturday. Now that's in place for those added areas of wave concern, keeping a close eye on that, plus rip current risk as well. Along our south coast where those waves aren't really too high, we have a beach hazard statement that is truly for those king tides, especially for our south coast communities that can see a little bit of coastal inundation with those highest tides. So we're keeping an eye on that. When we combine those high tides and those high surf conditions, that's where we've got the coastal flood advisory across all of our western beaches. That's through 2 p.m. tomorrow. That's when we're going to start to see these high tides start to wane off just a little bit, so better conditions are expected. Outside of our coastal concerns, we also have a wind advisory, wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour, expected tonight into early tomorrow morning for all of the areas shaded in this blue, as well as along our south coast. So we're keeping a close eye on those winds. It's going to be a little bit on the breezy side tonight, bringing in some more cloud cover as well. So got some challenges here and there, but as we head into tomorrow, things are going to get better. Those tides are going to start to calm down, and we're going to be seeing a lot more sunshine. 76 degrees tomorrow in Paso Robles, 79 in San Luis Obispo, 80 in Santa Maria, 83 in Santa Barbara, 77 in Lompoc, pretty comfortable in Morro Bay, 72, 77 in San Miguel, 84 degrees in Avila Beach, pretty comfortable for the 5 cities communities. As those tides start to calm down, we'll be better by those beaches. 77 in Pismo Beach, 71 in Shannon, 76 in Napomo, and along our south coast, comfortable as well. Goleta at 82, 83 in San Ynez. Into the weekend, lots of sunshine, a little bit of cloud cover sticking around in those interiors as it makes its way through the region, but still temperatures climbing to the 70s by our beaches, 80s in our coastal valleys. The middle of next week, even warmer. We're looking at the potential for some 90s in the San Ynez Valley, upper 80s for Paso Robles and San Luis Obispo, even in those 80s potentially for Santa Maria, nearly 90 degrees on Monday. Santa Barbara quite warm as well. Then by later on next week, we do have a chance for rain. That's going to get here late Wednesday night, bringing us some chances for rain on Thursday. It's still a long way out, but we're looking at the pretty substantial chance for large amounts of rain Wednesday into Thursday of next week. But until then, lots and lots of sunshine. Richard, back to you.